So this is for anyone who doesn't know, this is at Dad Trans and at Fierce Mum, who are great trans allies. So would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I think you've just done it there. I think I started on Twitter about the same time as you did.
Okay.
We're parents of a trans daughter, and we've tried to speak up for her when she doesn't have a voice, doing various things, advocacy, writing articles. We've got a blog that mainly talks about how awful the media is for trans kids and trans healthcare, and try and be positive on Twitter.
That's mega. I think it's really, like, obviously, I can't remember if it was you who said about this earlier, or Amanda Knox, who was like, I was saying, you know, it'd be great to have you on. You're like, oh, I don't want to take the place of a trans person, but it's genuinely really great to hear, especially from like parents of trans people, to just see that, like, because so many trans people don't have supportive parents or didn't have supportive parents, and you know, it's genuinely heartwarming to hear from people, and you know, it is really great, and I think it's really inspiring too. So yeah, thanks for being good parents.
Well, you know, I think it would depend which day you ask our kids on that question.
All kids hate their parents sometimes.
They've been allowed, and you know, all the regular battles and things.
Oh, sorry.
But for me, like, you know, Trans Day of Visibility is it's so important, and I know it matters to our daughter, and you know, it can feel shit a lot of the time out there, but on a positive note, she's doing really well. She's really happy.
Good.
She's got a kind of, she's got as a given that the problems are out there and aren't on her, which I think is a thing that a lot of previous generations of kids didn't have. You know, she unfortunately knows that there's various crap out there, but really. She knows that there's plenty of allies fighting her corner, and yeah, I'm hopeful that things are getting better. And talking to other parents of trans kids, every year we meet more and more parents who are supporting their kids at a younger age. And you know, you meet these kids at, you know, we meet up at Mermaids residentials and things, and you know, when they're supported, they just do brilliantly.
Yeah, I mean you hear in studies and stuff that, for example, the classic that people always roll out as a suicide statistic, but just other things about success of trans people in general, is when they're supported, they're barely different to cis kids. And you can see that in a study, but like kind of this, in a way, the study's kind of, obviously from your point of view, but certainly from my point of view, it's just kind of like a waste of time. It's like studying whether the moon exists.
Yeah, quite.
I mean, we do obviously...
Exactly, and it's still, what is the bar? Because I think until fairly recently, the bar of success was, you know, having a kid that's not suicidal. And it's like, well...
And that's a depressing thing to have to roll out.
That's a good starting point. But,
yeah.
You know, and all the other things that you want for your kid to be, you know, fully, you know, fulfilled and happy and confident, and
participate in sports, and do well at school, you know, all the stuff that any parent wants for their children, is to just have a happy life and to be safe. And I don't think that's too much to ask of any child, our cis kids or our trans kid. I think it's just so great to have you on there and doing what you're doing. And our daughter's got, you know, we were talking about visibility earlier with Charlie, and it's just so wonderful that she's got all these role models, and representation. 5 years ago, even 4 years ago, there wasn't, basically zero representation for trans kids especially. And in the last few years, you know, Stonewall have stepped up a bit, Mermaids have kind of, you know, grown and grown.
Mermaids have been propelled almost exclusively because of the hatred against them, which is deliciously ironic.
It's just so daft. I mean, if I wish some of these people could come and, see. I don't really wish that. But
No, it'd be horrible.
from a distance, they see what goes on at a mermaid's residential. They're just kids having fun, and you can't tell the trans kids from the cis kids, and parents who are trans, parents who are cis, and just people interacting. You get speakers there, and you just socializing with friends, really, in a safe environment where you can be themselves.
The thing that I find really exciting is, so obviously, both of you are awesome role models to so many people, and then you kind of you meet the kids who are kind of the late teens, and then you meet the people who are like mid-teens who are looking up to those people in their late teens, and then you meet the people who are like Emily, who's done some stuff on media, who's like 12.
13, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Just saw her doing her
It's important, isn't it?
And just each of those kind of generations down are kind of have got someone to look up to, and someone that they kind of aspire to be, and that gives them confidence.
And it's like, so say if you see somebody, you can say, well, that, and you can say that's me. And when our daughter, when we went to the first Mermaid's Residential some years ago now, and she met all these kids, and at the end of the weekend, we're like, she said something like, oh, I thought there were going to be more trans kids here. And I was like, you do realise that all those children you've been playing with are trans? She's like, oh no, I didn't realise. And she was just made up, and I didn't realise there's anybody else like me. I didn't know anyone would be going through what I'm going through, which is heartbreaking. But she's just, she's met so many trans people. She probably thinks about, 20% of the population's trans at this point.
Well, so does the Times also thinks that. So
yeah, quite. Yeah. But she's met Charlie. She's met some amazing people who are succeeding in their careers and just being visible and out there, and no future is closed for her. And that's all we want for our kids.
It's so amazing. It makes me feel emotional.
As also said, the first people supported by mermaids are now in their 40s. So,
really?
They're living their life. Yeah, they're living their lives.
I guess it's always, I'm sure you've heard this before, but like for many trans person who came out a bit older, or just pretty much any stage of your life that you came out, loads of trans people at least have some part of them that's like, I wish I could have come out earlier. And to know like that there's more pathways and stuff now, it can make you feel a bit like, ugh, I wish that was when I was around. But at the same time, like, it's just incredible to hear. It really makes me feel like amazing to just think that some of the struggles that people before me and even people after me have gone through just are not gone, but changed and made easier and better, and that there's more support and stuff. It's just it's amazing. And like your daughter will be carving the path for people who come after her, and
yeah, that's what I kind of hope for, because a lot of things are growing really well, but it's certainly not been easy for her at various points, and it would just be really nice if we can get to a future in, I don't know when it will be, 10 years maybe, might be a bit longer, when there just aren't those issues, and just like every kid can just get on with their life without having to face additional challenges and hurdles.
Yeah, for sure. Like you saying about her meeting other trans kids and just realising that people are the same, like that got me. It's like, when I was little, when I was really little, I didn't know anything about trans people. I didn't even know it was a thing. And I've just had this impression that all boys wanted to be girls, and that was just obvious, but it was just something no one talked about. And if someone had told me, no boys want to be girls, that's ridiculous, you're a weirdo, that would have like destroyed me. But if someone else said, oh well, actually, some do, and it's that you can meet some others and they're just normal, that would have been like incredible, I think, to find out, just to show people that, oh yeah, actually you're just normal, like you're different to a lot of people, but everyone's different somehow, so it's fine.
Yeah. Brilliant. There's a new series that's just started in Australia called First Day.
Okay.
Which is about, I think it came out as a special about 2 years ago, and it did so well they've commissioned a series on the basis of it. And the main star of the piece is a trans teen called Evie McDonald. And she plays Hannah, who's just starting her first day in a new school. And I think she's 14 now, but she's playing a 12-year-old girl starting at a new school as herself. And it's just such a brilliant piece of TV. If you can get hold of it, using VPN technology or anything else to pretend you're in Australia.
It would be so good if if there's anyone listening who's majorly powerful in the UK media, because I know that's definitely something that is likely.
Never know. I've got my fingers in lots of pies. So.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that I'd love it to get commissioned and shown on UK kids TV, because there's no easily available positive trans representation. I remember we went to the cinema one time with our daughter, and she said, "Oh, how come there's never anyone trans in any of the films?" And that's kind of true. Like, it's really hard to find kids media.
I mean, it's hard enough to find media that has a trans person in who's not horrifically represented. So even if you get nothing, nothing is better than lots of things. So.
Exactly. And it would just be really nice that there were just some more positive representation that is accessible to all ages.
And it's trans and rather than trans because, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. I totally feel that so much. I know that there are many people who enjoy LGBT content as sort of almost as a genre, but I guess maybe related to what I was saying about earlier, I don't feel like LGBT is my first identity. It's not my main thing, and I'm glad there is LGBT focused content of about people coming out and stuff. But I just want to see an interesting story where someone is trans. And maybe it's a thing that you could make jokes about it. There's so many jokes you can make about trans people that are good. And there's so much scope for just making an interesting story, but not about them being trans. I don't want to see people doing the same coming out story or the same woe story or dying or getting murdered or something. It's just I don't care. I just want exactly trans, and it's you're a trans person and also a really cool shred guitarist. Whatever.
Yeah. So, racing car driver.
Yeah, exactly.
Helicopter pilot. Yeah. Footballer.
I actually had a conversation with his mum about this a couple of years ago. So I've got a daughter she's 10 now, but she's cis, but it's kind of from the other way. So all this sort of media will benefit her, knowing that kind of she's got a parent that it's just normal, and all her friends at school. See, when I first came out, one of my biggest worries was if the kids that go to school with her find out that I'm trans, are they going to give her a hard time? And just seeing this kind of media just for cis kids, just normalising it would be so good. And I remember having a conversation with his mum about a book, George, I think it was, and I did buy it and I've read it. I've yet to give it to May. So my daughter, one of her favourite books was Charlotte's Web growing up, and this book is about a young trans girl who wants to play Charlotte in this play, and it's the perfect kind of marriage for her of having a trans parent and something she loves, and it's just normalising it. And this media doesn't just benefit trans people, it benefits our loved ones and our family and our friends.
It's so easy for people to forget that, and it's always overlooked. One of the classic times it's always overlooked is when people are arguing about should we teach kids about LGBT people, and they're oh, they're too young to understand. It's well, many kids have LGBT parents, and it's not too young for them to understand, because literally before they're even capable of understanding, they knew about LGBT people. They knew that they had two mums or two dads, or a mum who used to be the dad, or whatever it is, from the moment they could conceive anything. And it's completely ridiculous to say, oh, it's just for the kids themselves or whatever. It's about everyone.
For our cis and some of his role models also happen to be trans, and that's like
mega.
that's by the by, but they're just, you know, awesome people that he looks up to, and yeah, why wouldn't that be the case?
Yeah. And it's just so simple, those intersections. You talk about, your parents might be LGBT or LGBT, but your neighbour might be, or your uncle, or
the
your
milkman,
teacher,
or anyone.
Yeah, the milkman, exactly. Like, this is just about society and acceptance and kindness, basically, isn't it? Those are simple messages for children. You know, just respect people for who they are.
And it's so simple. Just imagine someone or an alien who comes to Earth and they're like, describe to me a disagreement amongst humans. And you're like, well, some people think that it's too difficult to tell 4-year-olds about trans people. And they're like, well, how would you do it? I'll be like, some people used to be men and now they're women, or the other way around. There you go. Like, it's just so mind-numbingly easy. Kids can understand it in a flash. It's not an issue until you get brainwashed into thinking it's an issue.
It's so sweet hearing our daughter speak to friends, or you know, new people she meets, or other trans people or not, and they'll just have a little conversation, and it might come up or it might not come up, and they might say, "Oh, you're trans," and she'll go, "Yeah," and I'll say, "Oh, what does that mean?" And she tells them, "So, right, you know, when I was born, my parents thought I was boy. Actually, I'm a girl." Silly then.
Yeah, usually she, especially when she's a bit younger, she just explain it like, yeah, you know, sometimes your parents are just really, really stupid.
Yeah, you two seem very stupid, so.
but it's that 30-second conversation, and they're done, and then they're going off, you know, play football, or
because
book or whatever.
Kids don't judge kids on that. Kids judge, like, if she is a nice person who's going to play whatever game they want to play, and then that's all they care about.
You're not born a bigot, are you?
No.
You learn prejudice from the people around you, and I think what's happening is, while the media's been awful of late to trans people, wider society, you just look at Twitter, you just look at YouTube, and, you know, new media, which, who's buying a paper these days? You know, there's going to be so much positivity in terms of representation by LGBT people, for LGBT people and others, that, I don't have any concerns about our daughter on that front.
Good. That's really good to hear, because I guess I spend a lot of time in the trenches on Twitter, and sometimes walk well into enemy territory, and it can sometimes give me the impression that things are getting worse, or that so many people think all of this bullshit. And often for me, the cure is to just go to the pub, and suddenly it's the total opposite, and it's like, oh, well, actually real life is nothing like these shit corners of Twitter. But it's good to feel, good to hear that you also feel that. And I think as a parent, you have a very different perspective on this, whether you're a trans or cis, just because protecting your kid is like so built in. It's like you instantly have a different perspective on these kinds of things because you're worrying about different things. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, I've kind of gone off Twitter a bit. It's been a bit on and off for me, but
it's total shit.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit off at the moment, but it's been nice taking a break, because I think some people have built those arguments, and I'm not, and I find it demoralising, where you end up having the same conversation again and again, and you're back to trans 101, trans kids 101 in our case.
Yeah, I think there was that question the other day about what's the most common anti-trans arguments, and I looked up a blog I wrote like 4 years ago, and it was just, I looked through it and I was like, oh god, it's the same. And I know I haven't been paying attention for that long, so the people who've been paying attention for 30, 40 years, I can understand why people are just so bored of it, because it hasn't changed.
I know.
I've
talked to trans women who came out in the 70s, and they're like, it's been the same the whole time. The only difference now is it's more mainstream. And that just means there's more of it. There's no new arguments. No one's devised a new... It's just like, I don't know, probably derail the conversation a bit, but it's like a religion as a discussion. All of the arguments were formulated over 1,000 years ago. And it's the same for trans people. Like, if there was an argument in the 60s against trans people, it's the same one now. And we've had it. It's been done.
much of it is recycled homophobia, as you said. It's a lot of it.
Oh.
It's all I saw it. We've grown up under Section 28. It's appalling, and it's the same. Same again. It's been so lovely to be on, and this has been a wonderful streaming event. And happy Trans Day of Visibility, and thanks for being visible.
That's okay. Thanks for being excellent parents, and thanks for coming on as well. It's I'm glad that this because I'm totally winging this, and it's gone all right. So that's good.
You're doing brilliantly.
Yeah, it's really good. And I hope we can meet for Katie for a first glass of wine and Christina a second glass of wine sometime soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Cider or gin.
Anything.
I mean,
but gin.
pretty much anything. I'll just sideline this on. I keep thinking about this the contingency planning for coronavirus and all the kind of the messages from Italy about what you should be doing now because they're 2 weeks ahead, and I feel like there weren't enough posts about biscuit stockpiling, and I've really failed on the biscuit stockpile.
Brewing.
You're gonna show me a biscuit stockpile? Oh.
Hobnobs, is that hobnobs?
Yeah, it's chocolate hobnobs. I had a packet for my lunch today, and that was all of it.
So I think we're gonna not take up too much time on
That's
here,
all right.
but,
That's all great.
I wish you lots of best wishes in everything, and especially in biscuits.
Yeah, and thanks to all the awesome people in chat as well.
Yes, the chat's been
Good night,
amazing.
all.
Night.
Bye.